Maybe you like clutter. In a day and age where we can't stop consuming highly edited, over-the-top media, maybe you like to sit down and play Minecraft in the same way. Whether it's all the mods, Sky Factory, or perhaps even Hypixel Skyblock, maybe you've conditioned yourself into liking the chaos. Because I know I have. I thought for a long time Minecraft just didn't have enough content for me. That's why I loved massive content packs from the old era of modding. I'm talking stuff like Thaumcraft 4 with its hundreds of add-ons. I like that sense of overwhelming vastness that consumed all, leading to this near endless possibilities, but it wasn't really Minecraft anymore, was it? At some point we stopped enjoying the things that made Minecraft Minecraft. The first blocks we break that we used to build our first house or our first little home on the side of a hill. Our camp. Our base, and the thing that makes it our home. Before setting out on a more simple journey, did we not crave this? Did we not crave that adventure? Do we not crave it anymore? Has Mojang failed us? I don't think that's a question I can answer, but it is something I want to share that I want to talk about. Because recently, I played Minecraft Match Flavoured, a data pack designed to revitalize the vanilla experience and retextualize what Minecraft could have been with new ideas. And I loved it. Yes, it was very simple compared to what I'm used to, but in an odd way it made me realize that we all need to slow down a little. Relax. Build something. Yes, I still found myself rushing to explore all the new content and stuff that was added, but that's what made me excited over something so simple. Such simple features that I knew, despite their simplicity, I could sit down with them for another few hundred hours and find relaxation and peace. But I wanted to find out what this feeling is. What captured that feeling and what magic does the enhanced simplicity of Minecraft even have? So here's the subject of this video. Minecraft Raspberry Flavored. A mod pack with a goal, not unlike Matcha Flavoured's goal, except it being a mod pack, whereas Matcha is a data pack. The goal of course being to focus on these little things in new ways. For example, what if we had to craft our enchants? Or build mechanisms of redstone to make stronger gear? What if it wasn't all on a silver platter? And what if the gameplay loop was changed? What if the freedom to make full diamond armor 10 minutes into your first Minecraft world wasn't possible anymore? What if you had to slow down and build and farm and collect more than just those little things you're used to getting? What if you had to incorporate so much more? And Raspberry Flavor does this beautifully. And if you know me, you know that this video will be encompassing my entire playthrough, post-commentary. While I did originally intend to 100% the game and get every advancement, some of the advancements in particular are a little bit, agonizing. So no, you cannot force me to collect 44 music discs. That said, I will do it if this gets enough views. So let's just say something outlandish like more than 200,000 views so I don't have to do this, because I actually think if I do have to do it, I think I'm going to actually explode. And with that, let us get started with the run. Welcome to the Raspberry Flavored playthrough. But first let's look at the advancements, because this is the main method of tutorialization throughout the pack itself, which I think is actually done really well. This voiceover will also be including my thoughts on the mod pack, because I was genuinely very impressed with a vast majority of this experience. Also, shout out to the advancement sound. You're going to be hearing it a lot. There's a couple of different awesome advancement sounds they included in this that are just like absolutely wonderful for some reason, which literally made me even more of an advancement collecting addict, by the way. Anyway, of course I looted a shipwreck off spawn, but it wasn't as good this time as compared to my other videos. I feel like I always get a shipwreck, but this one didn't have iron, so it was just a food chest, and the food chest wasn't that good anyway. So you have to start with copper in this pack, because as I included in the intro, stone tools do not exist. But we start with the absolute basics. We make a shield, we make a copper pick, we get to mining. You gotta start somewhere, and frankly, food is also a pretty prevalent resource in this pack, so as compared to something like Matcha Flavored, it's a little different, where food feels like really annoying, actually. It was kind of one of the things that bothered me a little bit in Raspberry Flavored, but I still liked it enough that I thought it was good. But they changed the regeneration system, and frankly, it's not super intuitive. I didn't really understand, like, why sometimes you would or wouldn't regenerate, but it's fine, honestly. It was pretty clear that eating, it did increase your health eventually, but sometimes it took a little while. but foods that gave you regeneration intrinsically were better. Also, I should probably warn you, jump scare! So, there's new mobs, and that one actually just scared the daylights out of me while I was in this cave trying to craft stuff, but I got that advancement about being stared at, and I was like, okay, what is this? And then out of nowhere, of course, I get absolutely jumped. Very cool. More on those guys later, but we get the Reforged advancement for making a forge, which is the new way to make iron tools, and it's the new way to make actually a lot of stuff with metal, which is a little bit annoying, honestly, but I think it's cool. Right? Everything that isn't the norm will automatically feel annoying in a certain way to me, but I think it's a good thing overall, as it really slows down the progression. Also, I find my first geode, which is interesting. I guess this just literally, they took Stardew Valley geodes and they put them in Minecraft, and I'm all for it. I think it was really cool. It's like little loot boxes. I like it. It's a good feature. So, I find a geode, and I figure amethyst is probably worth something in this pack. At this point, I didn't know what it was for, but I'm trying to get in here, and it's quite a train wreck, but eventually I find out. You can make these rune things, and you can also make these blank tablets, which are the enchanted tablets, which allow you to enchant. So, enchants are crafted in this, and a lot of the vanilla enchants have been removed. There's no more sharpness, and there's no more prot, there's no more efficiency, as many other things. As you can see, this guy is a weeping angel. When I said more on that later, I actually got to it. I saw a lot of comments on my previous videos saying I said more on that later, and then did not elaborate. There you go. Sorry. Sorry I say that a lot. Forgive me. Also, creepers blow up into, like, acidic nuclear bombs. I don't know why. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I could not figure out what the connection was there. This is a great new mechanic as well, the chain reaction. So sometimes when you mine stone, it'll actually be fragile stone. I don't know if there's a way to determine this, but it basically creates a big cave-in and you can mine really fast. Also, oh my god, some of the mobs, I was playing on hard, okay? I thought it would be cool. So many guys nearly just one-shot me, just took my soul. The second they tapped me, that guy had an axe, and he was in the dark, and I didn't see him, and it was very scary. Fortunately, though, we still have food, and there's actually some really good food in this pack, which is actually pretty fun. A lot of it is also really accessible, because raspberries, or actually, I think they're just strawberries, but I'm gonna choose to call them raspberries, because it's funny, and also it's the name of the pack. I don't understand. I feel like this is called raspberry flavored, but I never found raspberries. I did find strawberries, though. So I ended up using those, you will see, like a lot. It's time to start getting into the create stuff though, because this is a very important part of the pack. Creating the sturdy alloy is different than it is in normal create, because normally you need andesite, but you don't need that here, which is honestly a good change, I think. Good change of pace. Does require more resources, but overall is better. So here's the strawberries, of course, the field of strawberries, which is quite nice. That they are just here and grow all the time. So I end up building my base here. It's very convenient. Also, this was pretty close to spawn. Honestly, one thing that I found really interesting about this pack is that it removes the end entirely. So by removing the end, you actually remove the elytra as well. So there is no elytra, which also disincentivizes the need to explore, which I thought was kind of odd. But it's not that it disincentivized exploring, but it was more so I made use of what was near me a lot more. Because there wasn't really as much of a need to explore if I had a lot of the stuff nearby me, and a lot of the biomes were pretty condensed. I don't know if this is normal, but I had like a jungle near me, along with a savanna, along with this plains biome, along with a forest with bees and honey, and an ocean, like all literally next to this. It was very convenient. Quickly discover that diamonds need a lot of extra effort, by the way. You need to sandpaper them into their normal form, from rough diamond to normal diamond. And then once you have normal diamonds, you can't make armor, because you need to get into create to actually be able to craft these things, which is pretty interesting. Though, you could technically speed up the process by acquiring just a hand crank and a couple of crafters, but that felt disingenuous to what they were trying to do, so I decided to really get into, like, create for the first time. I am not a huge redstoner, I should probably say. All the Create nerds watching this video, I'm sorry. You're going to be seeing absolute brain rot in the form of my terrible redstone create setups. Because they involve no redstone, actually. It's just purely create nonsense, and I did not really know what I was doing. By the way, the advancements in this pack have amazing references. Silver being "it's no use" is genius. I will not elaborate. If you know the reference, you know the reference. It was getting dark, and the mobs are scary, so I decided to go get some coal and just, like, literally lit up the entire world around my base. Because low-key, I'm scared, but also at the same time, sleeping is coward shit, man. I don't like to sleep. I avoid sleeping like the plague. I think it's fun to not sleep in Minecraft in general, unless there's phantoms. That makes it bad. I make a fishing rod. There is a fishing enchant, or rather a fishing advancement, but we're not doing that one either, because no, I'm sorry, you cannot make me unless you tell me that this video is good and that you want more raspberry flavored. Okay, if you really want more raspberry flavored, maybe I'll do it. I make my first blank tablets for enchanting, but honestly, I don't really have any of the materials to do anything with it, so we're not doing it yet. I did try fishing, though. I just didn't really care, but it was cool because there's like a bunch of custom fish, and of course, that's fun. But honestly, I just didn't get into it. Maybe there's more fishing treasure stuff, but like, man, you can't make me fish, okay? Unless you really want me to. But I basically skipped all forms of armor that are prerequisite to iron. I kind of just made iron, which I think I could have done something else. I also blew myself up here with my own bomb while trying to farm, because I'm a genius and hotkeyed wrong. That was like genuinely one of the stupidest things I've ever done. If that killed me, I would have wheezed laughing, but I wasn't recording my voice in this, so you didn't get to hear me like scream in like shock of being blown to shreds by my own bomb. Genius player. Anyway, here we go, doing farmer stuff, because you kind of need animals for like a lot of the food in this pack, and I did at some point want to make some of the good stuff, because there overall was actually a lot of good stuff. I just didn't really get around to it. I did end up making some good food later, but I stuck to the strawberries for a lot of it because they do have an instant health buff when you eat them, which is pretty phenomenal. I tried doing a little mining, but honestly, I very quickly realized that I needed to craft some more stuff first, and I ended up making this oven, but I didn't use it for a long time. I just did it for the advancement. And I found out there's these cool stone bricks that are just made of stone. Or sorry, of cobble. They're like cobble bricks. And I really liked the block, so I decided to make the base out of it. I will remind you, I am not a good builder. Sue me, I will do what I want. I cannot build things that are flashy, and it just is what it is. Alright, you can cope. Anyway, I went mining again because I wanted more of those cobbled bricks because I thought they were cool, and I wanted to finish the house. So that's what I did. Are you happy? I played like a casual player, at least a little bit. I know I am like the least casual Minecraft player you will ever watch on YouTube, but it's fine, alright? I made a weird house that looks kind of wonky. Try to give it a little bit of texture and some stuff, and like, I think it came out fine. It's just really simple. It literally looks like someone's first house, but you know, that's just how I play the game, and that's it. That's my life. It's my playstyle. I like to explore the meat of Modpacks. I like the content, if you will. I also discovered that bat wings can actually be turned into like a hang glider thing, but I didn't end up making it through the run because I discovered it really late into the game. Which is when I realized that the end didn't even exist, because I was like, oh, I want to fight the dragon for the video, but then I was like, oh, there is no dragon. It's really weird. But, it's fine, you know, we still have some things to get to in the form of a boss fight. But for now, I'm just kind of collecting advancements, because it was at this point still, by the way, that I thought I was going to get all the advancements. I'm just doing random shit, like making a composter, or rather, getting, like, compost and tree bark and, like, all this random stuff. Which is cool and was fun, but also I didn't end up using a lot of the stuff that I got advancements for. Especially the create stuff. There was a lot of create advancements, and frankly, I did not feel incentivized to find out what some of these gadgets did because they are pretty complicated. I kind of just made them for advancements later. Here we go. Here's another one. You combine a bed with a banner. This is actually pretty cool. I like this. Combine a bed with a banner. Boom. Snowman bed. I don't know why these are things or why these are advancements, but they're cute. I really like it. It's just something, there's some charm to that. I think it's good game design. And then I found something rather interesting. Absolutely banger jingle for finding, like, some semblance of the Nether, I guess. Like, when you find something related to the Nether for the first time, you get that. So cool! I just loved that jingle for the advancement. That's how I knew this pack was like, man, they put in a lot of effort at the sound design. I wish there was more of these, like, really cool advancement sounds, because sometimes, like, the normal sounds play. I want the bangers, bro. That was so cool. Anyway, I opened some geodes. Plant some pumpkins, you know the drill. You know how it is. Getting all the foods, getting all the things. There's an achievement for farming everything as well, but obviously we did not get to that either, because, oh my god, there's like 25 crops or something, and they're all biome specific, and I couldn't even find, like, basic things sometimes. It took me forever to get potatoes, which I needed to make a lot of the food I wanted. You also need to make this, like, lacerite stuff to get to the end, or sorry, the Nether, which is interesting. But I don't know. Replacing flint and steel felt weird. I was like, what? I didn't really understand the point. It was just kind of like a random thing. Some of it does feel like kind of arbitrary clutter, but I'm not mad about it. I think it's interesting, but also, why replace like a really iconic thing in Minecraft with lighting the portal? I don't know. Maybe just to slow the player down a little bit so you don't jump into the Nether right away, but whatever. Also found this weird lava lamp in the cave, which I thought was hilarious because the lichen was blocking the lava, which I've literally never seen that generate, but whatever. It was basically just diamond time, but instead of getting a lot of diamonds, I ended up finding this enormous redstone vein. Which is a good time to explain that redstone has been completely replaced. Redstone is now replaced by cinnabar, which is used to make like a million things, and also redstone itself, which is cool. But you need a lot of it, so I ended up just mining out this whole vein. The vein was indicated by like different parts of calcite, and there was so much. You can see my pickaxe durability dropped in that segment. But finally, it's time to make a diamond pickaxe, because unlike the diamond armor, the tools can be made just in the forge, which is a lot easier. Fortunately, you do not need to get into create just to make diamond tools. So that means we can now get to the Nether, which is great, because I want to go to the Nether. I want to see what is going on in the Nether. Because I assume at this point that the Nether's probably changed in some way, because there's no end, so that's weird. Also, TNT is now called dynamite, and dynamite is really, really awesome, okay? When you craft it, you get 8 of it, and it doesn't destroy ore. It basically just blows up big areas, and you can clear out stuff while mining, so it kind of turns it into this, like, actual mining tool, which is really good, by the way. TNT in Minecraft is kind of weird, because I feel like a lot of it is generally not super useful. Also, for the first time, we're cooking. We are cooking! We made jars of jam. Alright, jars of jam give you regeneration. Very good. And speed, which is cool. At this point, I decide I'm gonna do create nonsense, and I made a windmill that sucked. I did not know that windmills were horrible, but apparently they are. I tried for like 20 minutes to do something with that, and then ended up giving up. So, yeah. Merry Christmas. We're moving on. It's time for the Nether. I went back to the portal, mined some obsidian, which mines way faster in Raspberry Flavored, by the way. I love that. Absolute banger. And we light the portal with the liquefied lacerite, which is, I guess it's cool. You know what? I've warmed up to it. It's fun. It also gives a use for crying obsidian, because you need crying obsidian to make it, unless you find some in a ruined portal. So the Nether now has concentrated gold ore, which is pretty cool. So you can get a lot of gold here. It also has these new types of piglins, which are literally incredibly strong. I got messed up by these guys so randomly. But they give you potions, which I thought was pretty exciting. So you don't have to brew stuff, you can just kill them. They drop really good stuff, too. Other than the fact that they literally destroy you in combat, but whatever. They give you regen, they give you healing, they give you strength, they give you just about everything you could ever want. We got Return to Sender. Also, ghasts drop calamari now, which I think is very funny. Gassed calamari. There's a lot of new food, which ended up being really cool. I really wanted to try using the dynamite to see if I could find netherite with it, and lo and behold, that did in fact end up working in my favor. I started doing the the all advancements MCSR tactic for running around in the nether just blowing up TNT that you get from desert temples. That's what they do in the speedruns, but I find some netherite doing this, which is good because I really wanted to see how netherite worked, if it was good, if it was useful. Because obviously if diamond is hard to craft, then clearly netherite armor is going to be probably much more difficult. And yeah, lo and behold, yes it is. You do in fact need to use create. More specifically, we're going to need to get our hands on a blaze burner, which is really annoying. There's also a new material called silver. And silver is really annoying to find too. One way you can aid yourself in finding it though is by making a silver mirror, which makes it so when you hit undead, it will kind of make a particle trail towards the nearest silver ore. You can only find silver in this kind of like intermediary period between where stone becomes deep slate, so it's pretty tedious. At this point I'm looking into alloys, and I discover rose gold, which looks awesome, and also does magic damage, and has silk touch intrinsically. Two really cool, interesting things, but one of the weird aspects of this is the fact that silk touch is removed entirely, which is also when I realized efficiency is removed entirely. And so is sharpness, which is really weird. And honestly, some stuff was outlandishly odd about this mod pack, and that was one of the things where I never quite warmed up to it until the very end. Because I thought the whole time I felt so underpowered. But it's because I never really crafted the good weapons until much later. But there are 5 custom weapons, special weapons, made from each of the alloys. And they're very cool. By feeding a pig, you can actually be brought to a truffle. And they're like a truffle pig if you give them a golden carrot. But he literally brought me nowhere, so that was cool. Maybe I did something wrong, but he just didn't find a truffle. I dug around where he was showing me, and I just did not get a truffle. I probably did something wrong. If someone knows how that works, tell me in the comments, because I was trying to get a truffle for a while and it just didn't work. I might be dumb. Alright, now it's properly create time. We get a millstone. Need a millstone to crank out the cinnabar into actual redstone. At least in a more meaningful way. So this gets you like a proper amount of redstone, which we're going to need to craft like a lot of junk. At this point, by the way, I am still just getting advancements. I thought I was going to get them all. I'm crafting stuff I don't even know what it is. I don't know what these create items are. I crafted so many create items I've just never seen in my life. I don't know how to use them. I know how to use the harvesters and stuff, but I end up just not using this stuff. I just literally never touched it. I crafted it, I placed it down, I got advancements for it, and then I never used it. And that's probably me being stupid, but it's above my pay grade, man. I don't know. Went back to the nether for a quick glowstone run because we needed glowstone to make this stuff called cinder essence or cinder something, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But you needed to make ember coke, which is important because we needed to make a blaze burner, and that was basically it. I also made bronze, which ended up not being an alloy that makes anything. And then this garbage happened where I picked vanilla pods that I found because I was like, ooh, a new crop. And then I got slimed, like, immediately. Just immediately slimed. Like, what is happening? For some reason, picking vanilla just poisons you. And then I'm getting attacked by, like, every guy ever. And I somehow survived this. I just somehow slip away through the water. There was a skeleton on the other side of the bank. I would have just been dead instantly, but I managed to live. It was so stupid. I don't understand. Why does picking vanilla just kill you? Anyway, whatever. I found tomatoes. I wanted tomatoes because you actually need them for a bunch of advancements. By the way, there's another horrible advancement for crafting a stack of pizza. And there was also a mine shaft there, so I decided to go in here. Which is when I take reverse inverted knockback into the hole and get absolutely slimed by cave spiders. Fun. Very cool game. But fortunately, this has a gravestone mod of sorts, so I'm able to get my stuff back without much difficulty. These guys did not immediately respawn to kill me, which was nice. I appreciate it. Thank you, Minecraft, for not being horrible. Very cool. And this chest had a tablet! Specifically, I don't really care about the other enchants, but I do care about multi-jump, which is something that we will be using soon after I get diamond armor. Should tell you, I don't normally die in Minecraft, but the lack of protection enchants make this game really hard on hard mode, because you are dealing with guys like that, which apparently clone your items and just kill you instantly. So that was fun. Another death to the death toll. Very cool, man. Believe me, there will be more deaths. For example, jump scare! Hey, there's a creeper in the dark that you literally can't see because they aren't green anymore sometimes. And also weeping angel creepers just like blowing up for fun. I didn't actually die here, but it was scary. I managed to find this concentrated block of diamond, which is actually crazy, by the way, that you can just find that next to lava sometimes. 9 diamonds, just in a block. This was all connected to a water cave system, which I was trying to explore, but I didn't really end up finding anything too good. I did find some more diamonds down here a few times, but what was cool was these cave-ins, where like sometimes when you strip mine, this just happens, and it just like opens up like a big area, which I thought was really cool. I'm a big fan of this. I think this is a really great feature. Because it just reveals more ore, it makes strip mining more fun. Of course, getting backstabbed by more of the... Well, I don't know what these guys are supposed to be, but they're awful. These guys are terrible. I hate them. I don't know why this enemy exists. I don't know what purpose he serves other than jump scaring you in the dark and doing all of your health in one hit. Very fun. Also, when I came back to base, I had like a pink Vex. I don't know what he is. I don't know why he showed up. I don't know what he does. But cool. It was very cute. I didn't see any advancements about it, but it was very sweet. It reminded me of like a pixie in Stardew Valley showing up on your farm to like grow your crops or something. But I don't think it does any of that, but it totally should. Finally, we make our mechanical crafters, which means I hooked it up to the windmill and watched it painfully slowly craft my diamond armor, which is incredibly funny. It was so slow because I decided to hook it up to this automation, which was the worst possible form of automation that I probably could have came up with. But you know what? I don't care. Sue me, man. So, we're gonna try out the multi-jump here. This is what it's like. It just gives you one little hop. It's actually pretty nice. Although you can level it up to 3, which would probably give you 3 little hops, but I did not end up doing that because I didn't have the materials for it. At long last, I felt safe. I had full diamond armor, which is much better than having copper and iron, because I was in apparently just broke poorness forever. I also get a depth gauge and a compass for some more advancements. These are really cool. They actually let you see your coordinates, which is a really fun idea to have like an actual vanilla-esque vibe for like not using F3. I think that's great, because a lot of people don't like to use the F3 menu. I'm a player that does like the F3 menu, but for people who don't like it, I think it's great. It's a really good feature. I'm digging through all of the different tablet enchants, and I discovered that Swift Strike is a thing. It feels like it kind of replaces Sharpness in a way, because instead of doing more damage on hit, you have a faster DPS, because you're able to swing your weapon quicker. Which is kind of interesting, but like I'm not like the biggest... I'm not convinced, okay? I wasn't convinced until way later, but for now I just put it on a rose gold sword because I like the idea of doing magic damage. Because I kind of wanted to pierce the armor of like those guys in the mines and like other guys that might have armor. I thought this was cool, so... Testing it out didn't go phenomenally well on the first test, but it does swing really fast, as you can see. It's really fast. So now it's time to get back in the Nether. Now that we've got more gear, I set up a lodestone compass so I know how to get back guaranteed. And I immediately find a bastion kind of just in this other direction that I didn't go yet, which was nice. Bastions are full of crazy stuff. I got so many golden carrots from this bastion, it was awesome. Golden carrots end up being really useful. I got mushrooms for cooking. There's just so much stuff here. It was really good. This is also where I discovered that the piglin roots drop ancient debris, or more specifically ancient scrap, which is awesome because it means I have to mine way less. Also, for some reason a nuclear bomb goes off in the center of the bastion, and I genuinely don't know why. If anybody can explain what happened there, that would be great. I don't know what that was, but it was funny, so I included it. The chest also had coffee beans, which was nice because that's just more crops that at the time I thought I was gonna want, but low-key I didn't. Multi-jump also lets you do this and just like save your fall damage and just not die, which is really cool. Low-key, it's basically just the cloud in a bottle from Terraria, but we don't talk about that part. Also, I found this like obsidian geode thing, and it had netherite in it. And finally, I find a way to get blazes. So that thing in the center has a blaze lamp. So I know that there's a blaze spawner on it in the obsidian pillar. I didn't find a fort. That's okay though. I don't need a fort, because all I really need is to capture a blaze. Which nets us the sentient fireplace advancement for getting our blaze burner filled. Reminder that the blaze burner is basically necessary to make progression, because you literally require it to do almost anything with Create that involves making the advanced alloys. So if we want netherite, or if we want any of the new stuff like electrum, we're gonna need it. So with my blaze burner, I make my way back, because now it's time to start trying to make the alloys. But this was before I realized that making the alloys was actually going to be way more of a headache than I thought it would be. Because not only do you need a blaze burner, but you also need this item called a blaze tart. And the blaze tart is a multi-step process that you have to craft using Create setups. And that's annoying, but that's okay, because I learned how to do it, and it was cool. First, we need to make the mixer, basin, and you put the blaze burner underneath the basin to power it with heat. But that's what we need the blaze tart for. But for now, at the very minimum, we can make brass, which is what we actually need to make progress. Brass creates like premier material. It's used in like everything that's actually important, and you need a blaze burner for it. So now that we have it, we can actually do Create, essentially. This is where you're gonna laugh at me, because my Create setups look like whatever the f you're looking at right now, which is not the best. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? We get these deployers or whatever. You need them to do the crafting cycle. We also have this fluid tank, and the I forget the name of it, the spout or whatever that spouts lava. Because it needs to be a blaze tart, so it needs the lava, and you have to deploy the materials onto the cake to like make the thing. It's just so weird. I was so confused trying to do any of this, man. It got overstressed, and then I just added more wheels. It was such a train wreck, bro, but like whatever. I got it working eventually. Made an item drain and another conveyor belt. Essentially, you have to hook this up to like different fluid pipes. Here we go. The lava goes on. It goes on the item drain. The lava gets dumped. Goes into the system. I had it pumping the wrong way because I'm a genius. Pump it the correct way, and it gets pumped into the tank. And then with one more pump, we're able to get it into the spout. And then the spout can just clonk out the lava onto the blaze tart when we're ready to craft it. Like so. You put the cinder essence onto the start of the conveyor. Once every item is on the deployer and they're ready to go, which at the time they weren't, but here in this clip they are, it starts doing the crafting process. However, when I did it, I for some reason had a 4 out of 5 incomplete blaze tart because of course I read the recipe wrong. It turns out you also need the mechanical press to press the blaze tart as the last process in the cycle. So after setting that part up, I was able to just get more kinetic force, then throw it on. I was also able to make precision mechanisms, which is another thing that you use this for. It's another advancement. It's used for like a ton of other advancements, which I just started doing obsessively because I can't keep track of anything. And we were finally able to get the blaze tart and a bunch of other Create advancements because of all this crap that we did. This was just such an adventure into Create. Something that I've never really done before. So you'll have to forgive me for my setup looking like whatever the hell you're looking at. With blaze powder and iron and some other stuff, we're able to craft steel, which is yet another alloy. But we don't really care too much about steel, but there is some stuff that I needed to craft with it. In particular, I was just trying to get some of the basic advancements, like this one, for just getting a steel item. But frankly, I didn't really need to do any of that. But now, we're bottlenecked. Because if I want to make any of the endgame materials, like nicromium or electrum, I need silver. And silver, like I said earlier, if you missed it, is found specifically between the layers of stone and deep slate. It's on that intermediary period, like this right here. This is the first piece of silver I actually found. But I ended up finding like a ton of it after I started looking for it. But it is quite a tedious mess, especially with the jump scare creepers that are literally everywhere. Thankfully, I had all the golden carrots from the Bastion, so I was able to eat those for night vision, which was actually a really cool feature. I really like it. I really quite like that they give you like a minute of night vision every time you pop one. And when you have like a bunch, that's like 40 minutes of night vision. Very useful for caving. Let's found this dungeon, and I found cabbage seeds! Keep a close eye on the cabbage seeds. Here's some silver, right? My inventory's full. I dropped the cabbage seeds. I'm like, crap, I want the cabbage seeds. Okay, I need to go back. Alright, so I tried to pick it up, and I picked up the silver, I dropped the cabbage seeds on accident. Jump in the hole, I don't get the cabbage seeds because there's a million mobs for some reason. Non-stop. Endless mobs. Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of everything. Alright, I start clearing it out. Fine. Dropping items. Oh, creeper inside of me. It's a peeper, and he moved like a weeping angel and assassinated me. Thank you. Very cool. For some reason, these caves are just full of enemies. I don't understand. It was insane. Every single cave, the whole run, absolutely outlandishly full of mobs. Non-stop. Whatever. I'm gonna stop crashing out about it. It was annoying. I swear, I like never die in Minecraft. And I had to do the run back of shame like 3 times. That's rare for me, bro. I was losing it. I also find this really cool dungeon, and it has 2 new tablets that I didn't have before. Frankly, though, I don't really care about either of them. One is like True Shot, which is piercing for bows, and then the other one is just like whatever. They're just not very good. I feel like a lot of the enchants felt a little weird or like underpowered. I missed my power enchants, man. I missed my damage enchants, but that's okay. I like the attack speed ones a lot. I think they're really good, but I really did miss my damage enchants. Finally, I find this like enormous cave, which had a lot of silver on the ceiling, which was a little annoying to get to, but I ended up getting a lot of it. Continue my exploration until eventually I just kind of made my way out of this cave through this big lush cave. It was just a crazy cave system, tons of silver. And finally, we had what we needed to actually make the cool stuff. The cool stuff. In this jungle, though, I managed to run into latex, which you can find by just stripping away the bark on jungle trees. Latex is used for like a couple of create things. We didn't really end up needing it that badly, but you can use it to make rubber. And rubber was used for a couple of enchant things, weirdly, and some other random stuff. I just didn't really end up using it, but it was cool. And it was an advancement, so at the time I was like, oh, I gotta get all the advancements. Which I didn't end up doing. Which I may remind you, if you subscribe, maybe I will do it. If this video gets enough love and traction, maybe I'll consider doing the rest of Raspberry Flavored. Maybe I'll stream it or something, I don't know. I also downloaded an advancement tracker at this point, so you might notice it pop up every once in a while. Because I was trying to get the advancements up until, like, maybe 5 minutes from now in recording time. But this is the netherite phase, where I made a ton of TNT out of the gunpowder that I've been collecting throughout the course of the run, and we managed to get a pretty good sum of netherite. Every single jump here is more netherite, and also I definitely cut out a bit of the netherite mining. Because I ended up burning all of my pickaxes as well. I crafted a bunch of rose gold pickaxes because they do this to netherrack, because we don't have efficiency anymore. So with our ancient scrap that I created, it was time to make some fun armor. What kind of fun armor, you're asking? Well, with the blaze tart, and the mixer, and everything that we've been collecting up to this point, finally, at long last, we can create electrum. And then with ancient scrap and silver, we can create necromium, which are 2 really cool materials I'm a huge fan of. This is really cool. First of all, electrum gives you an intrinsic speed boost, and is as good as netherite normally. Great. Necromium, stronger than netherite, but its gimmick is instead of speed, it gives you a necro aura, which gives you essentially weakness on all surrounding enemies. But now at this point it was time that I realized I wasn't gonna get all the advancements, so we needed to wrap it up, alright? It was too much for me. So I took these exo pearls, which actually took me to not a nether fortress, but a wither skeleton spawner, which is actually exactly what I needed to craft special weapons, because you need wither bones to create the rose gold rapier, which is what I end up making. The rose gold rapier, made with this recipe here, with a rose gold sword, quartz, rose gold, and wither skeleton bones, has intrinsic lifesteal. All I need to do now is enchant it. With a little bit more preparation, and the fact that I farmed those wither skulls for a while, it was time for a little action. we created the guard break enchant, which reduces the vulnerability frames of enemies, so they are able to be damaged more frequently. And also increasing our attack speed with Swift Strike actually increases our damage by quite a bit. So instead of sharpness, it's more based on clicking. We also make, finally, good food with Satiation Boost, which restores your health and hunger a lot faster. I crack open a couple more geodes to get a little bit more netherite, so I can finally get netherite ingots, which is also a very nice finisher to close out this run. The netherite, I craft up a helmet and a pair of boots, because I figure the speed boost isn't going to be too relevant for what we're going to be doing. It also has intrinsic fire protection, which is pretty cool. With the last enchants crafted, it was time. The moment you've been waiting for, of course. A little bit of action, per se, to end our run off. What this song has been building to the entire time. With the Wither slain and evil defeated, we have won Raspberry Flavored in the only way I truly know how. Also, getting jump boost is pretty cool because it actually influences your multi-jump. Big fan of that feature. Anyway, this was a blast. This is a really good mod pack. Overall thoughts, I'm a big fan of actually implementing create into your gameplay, even though I'm not really a big automation person. I honestly hate automation in Minecraft. I'm not very good at it, but it's not that I'm not good at it, it's more so that I don't really like it. I like to explore, and I like to adventure, but frankly, this is a really good change of pace. It really makes you play Minecraft kind of like it's Stardew Valley or something, where you just kind of sit down and you make stuff. I think that's really cool. You mine, you build, and you make, and you craft. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what Minecraft's about, which is kind of the thesis of this video. I just want Minecraft to be more like Minecraft. And frankly, it does that really well. So with that, thank you for watching. If you got this far in the video, I gotta say thank you. The support has been pretty overwhelming lately, and it really makes me happy to see people enjoying my content. So if you want to support the channel, and support a small channel in particular, feel free to subscribe, join the Discord, like the video, do whatever you want. I'm not your mom though, I can't tell you to do anything. But all in all, once again, I'm terrible at outros, and I don't really care. So thank you for watching! See you later, nerds. Bye!